Welcome back. A bill making its way through the State House would give you more protections when it comes to security breaches. This comes as Equifax agreed to pay up $700 million to those affected by the credit monitor's security breach in 2017. Joining us for more on the proposal is North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein, the Democrat stepping across the aisle to work with Republican lawmakers to get the measure through the General Assembly. Good to see you, sir. Welcome back.
Tim, pleasure.
Let's talk about Equifax here. More than $600 million. People hear that and think one thing or another, but this is a really big deal.
Well, it was the largest, most consequential security breach in our nation's history, which merited the most substantial security breach resolution in our nation's history. No security breach cases come anywhere near $600 million. Equifax is a credit reporting agency, meaning that they have all of our most personal financial information. Every credit card, every loan, any relationship with a utility, anything where you have a credit relationship. They track that information. They have your Social Security number, your driver's license number, everywhere you've ever lived, your spouses, everything that is you financially, and they very carelessly allowed their system to be hacked, and more than 148 million Americans, and when it was North Carolina, it's 5.3 million North Carolinians, that is nearly 2 of every 3 adults in the state had their information stolen by thieves because of Equifax's negligence. That's why I took this case so seriously. I was on the executive committee, a group that 50 states participated. This isn't a Democratic or Republican issue. Every state in the country participated, and we negotiated what we think is a very strong settlement to hold Equifax accountable, and we hope to incent other credit reporting agencies and companies that have our information to do a better job.
Before we get into the policy issues with this and what to do moving forward, just real quick for folks that may be saying, hey, am I owed some money?
Yeah.
Do most people know if they're owed money, and how do they go about figuring out what kind of money are we talking about here?
They don't know, and so they need to go to a website, and we have a website which it's Equifax breachsettlement.com, and if I didn't get it exactly right, we want to make sure. Please do. Because they should just go and check, and it will tell them if they were implicated, and if they were, what they can do to get compensated and what steps they should take to protect themselves.
What kind of money are we talking about for individuals here?
A few $100s per person. It's not huge amounts, but the whole idea, they not only get money, but they get a lot of services. 10 years worth of security breach monitoring and the access to security freezes, which are already free under state law and federal law. But we're trying to make it as easy as possible for people so that now that we know the thieves have this information, let's do everything we can so they can't use it to harm us.
It's kind of frightening when you think about how important companies like Equifax are and what they have access to that this can happen. Do we need more regulation when it comes to these type of companies? I know regulation is sometimes not the greatest word that people want to use.
I will embrace it. It's called protections. And yes, you don't have a relationship with Equifax. You never asked Equifax to collect all this information about you. Their customers are the businesses that are making credit decisions, so they serve a function in our economy, but if they're going to play that role, and there's also TransUnion and Experian, those are the 3 major ones. If they're going to take all this information, they have to be at the highest level of security infrastructure to protect that information. And that's what we're demanding of Equifax. And frankly, I think we need improvements to federal law so that whatever requirements we put on Equifax also apply to TransUnion and Experian and any company that gets into this business.
And I know on a state level you're working across the aisle to try to strengthen protections, working with Jason Singh, who's going to join us after the break.
Right.
What are you hoping to do with this bill? And I guess it's late in session. We don't know what's going on, but what are we hoping gets done this session still?
Well, what we did when this breach hit over a year ago, I had my lawyers go through North Carolina's laws. What are our identity theft protections and how good are they? And I think that I would give it a B or B+. I mean, we were actually one of the first states back in 2005 to put in an Identity Theft Protection Act. And because we were first, it was good, but there have been some new developments in the last 10, 15 years that we think the law should reflect. I would say the 2 most important parts of this bill are, one is it puts a duty, a reasonableness standard on businesses and government for when they collect personal information to make sure they safeguard that information. You can't take all this information in and just leave the back door wide open for the thieves to come and steal it. The second thing it does is when these breaches occur, and they will occur, even if somebody does everything exactly right, sometimes there will be a breach, and we recognize that. But when the company experiences that, they have a duty to notify the affected people as soon as possible so that we can take measures to protect ourselves. If they know that the breach has occurred, the thieves know the breach has occurred, but we don't know as people, then we can't take the steps we need to. So that's one of the steps, one of the pieces of the bill is to put a 30-day rule that when they know within 30 days, they've notified the affected people.
You think you can get through the session yet?
I hope so. And Jason Stein's been working hard on this issue. It needs to happen. The legislature needs to step up and protect North Carolinians from security breaches, and so I certainly hope they push this bill through.
Mr. Attorney General, thank you for your time as always.